Hello, I'm Dennis. I'm from San Diego, California, and I'm the next artist on Musicians Wanted. My childhood was pretty good. I would say that I was a very artistic child. A lot of the stuff that I was interested in was all art-based. Piano was kind of like the jump start, but I loved dancing a lot and singing and drawing. It was really a big part of my life. And I think somewhere along the way, like I kind of got a little self-conscious about being into art instead of like what boys are typically into. That kind of made me a little bit more internal, which is where I kind of found songwriting and expressing myself in this type of way. So yeah. When I was in 5th grade school, my brother was diagnosed with cancer, and that was a pretty impactful moment, as you can imagine. When he's okay, so it's all good. But I think that moment in my life, that kind of made me discover independence for the first time and kind of being alone with my thoughts. And I think that influenced me and impacted me in a way that made me need to find a different outlet on how to express myself. Kind of keeping this like casual tone. I'm just talking to myself. I'm not really putting on any other voice that I feel like other people want to hear. It's me writing songs is for myself, to express myself and kind of learn more about myself through different topics I'm writing about. And I think that kind of lends itself to, a more conversational, colloquial tone. I started with piano, and I wrote like all my songs on that for a few years. And then I started playing guitar around high school. And I found that it was just like so much easier to just like pick up, and I can't pick up a whole piano and just like play it on my bed. The mobility of having a guitar just like right next to my nightstand is just really nice. A lot of my songwriting happens when I'm not in a songwriting type of mindset. I'll be doing homework or working on, I don't know, a drawing or something, and I'll think of a song lyric or melody and I'll quickly write it down or play it out. And I think just like being able to grab my guitar and play something has worked really well for me in the past few years. So I think I'm definitely getting more drawn to guitar.
Many times already, when I feel a bit unsteady, I'll tell my friends the weird things that I'm thinking, and the way I let them sink in all over again. But every time I try to explain myself, I end up more upset than before I asked for help. I'm always thinking so much harder than what I can take. And the truth is, my mouth can't move as fast as that pace. I sound dumb, I feel numb, I've been told don't think so much. I'm sorry I can't. Maybe once a day I'll think about the day when I'm not here, and that'll go away, but the other thoughts will stay, that won't disappear. And every time I try to voice these thoughts, I don't make sense. I sound like someone who talks too much. I'm always thinking so much harder than what I can take. And the truth is, my mouth can't move as fast as that pace. told don't think so much. I'm sorry I can't just drop these things. Caught in between being someone I might wanna be, and between someone else who may just have to be okay with dealing with things. I'm always thinking so much harder than what I can take. And the truth is my mouth can't move as fast as that bass. I sound dumb, I feel numb, I've been told don't think so much. I'm sorry
Being from San Diego, I've had to kind of deal with and cope with being away from half my life in both spots whenever I'm at the other one. And I think that just like knowing that there's people and places that are changing and continuing to develop and get older, and just all of the different things that come with not being in a space for too long, I think that every time I return to that spot, I do notice the changes and I do notice what's different. And I think that's something that's pretty hard for me. I think not being with certain people for a good chunk of time affects me in a way that, I don't know, makes me really nostalgic and reminiscent of when I'm not with them. I feel like what I miss when I'm not there is just the familiarity of like everything that is there. Like I know my room, I know where like everything is, I know where all the utensils are, all the cups, like, and obviously I know where that all is in my apartment, but I think something about just like having the familiarity of like where I've been for 20 plus years of my life is a nice security blanket for me to have. I'm also very attracted to the idea of newness and like getting away from it. So it's kind of this like double-edged sword of like, of wanting that security and liking that safety of it all, but also liking the sporadicness and like the unsureness of everything else that comes with life. I really liked how I wrote Plane Song. I spent a lot of time these past 4 years just on a plane flying back and forth. And that's just a lot of time to think. I can never sleep on planes, so I'm usually just up thinking or like writing or whatever. And I let myself write Plane Song like just solely on the plane whenever I was going to or from both places. And I never really like continued working on it unless I was on the plane. And I think that it was a good way to kind of get centered around just like the environment, the atmosphere of like how I feel when I'm on the plane and what I bring with myself when I go from place to place.
I don't know why I always cry when the plane starts to fly. The clouds take over in my last second sober as I lean over on my side. Music in and the engines still scream. The world zooms out and I can't see the jet stream behind me. The city's getting tinier. I am leaving behind what I just became alright with. Tonight will be a long one, 'cause I've got nowhere to run. I look that I'm older, the memories hold my arm as I fly away. Orange skies help a bit with the trip. Turbulence high and I'm feeling nauseous already. Eyelids are getting heavier. I am leaving behind what I just became alright with. Tonight will be a long one, 'cause 3 hours forward takes away the sun. I don't want to go. There's house, here's home. From what I know, I have to go. But I am leaving behind what I just became alright with. Tonight will be a long one, 'cause 3 hours forward takes away the sun. And I've got nowhere to run.
What song is on repeat for you right now?
Right now. I would say Crash by Miss Charlie XCX. That song has just been on constant repeat. Yeah, I've been listening to that album so much. Like any time of the day, I'll just play it. I feel like the past 3 years, I've been like following the music with the vibe. Like if it was gloomy, I'd be like, oh, I guess I have to listen to sad songs. But like as of recently, I've been like, oh, it's gloomy. Let me put in some Charlie XCX and like dance on the T. And I feel like that has just been like so fun and so helpful. I love Lizzie McAlpine's new album that she just released. It's genius and so great. Also, I'm a big fan of Phoebe, of course. Their writing is so personal and so intimate, and I definitely draw inspiration from just how vulnerable they let themselves be in their writing. I feel like they're not really scared to say anything. Nothing's really off limits. And I feel like that's something that I can kind of pull more from. I feel like when I write, sometimes I'll erase it and be like, no, that's too much. That's too far. And I think that they don't really do that. And that's something that I definitely admire about them.
Talk us through Colorblind specifically.
I wrote that song in a pretty dark time in my life. I just feel there was like a couple, like a year-ish where I was just really, really down, really depressed. And I think that I wrote that about kind of having to still show up to do things and still forcing yourself to take care of yourself and do literally like just like normal things while also dealing with everything going on up there.
The wind was chillier the day I walked outside my door. I noticed that the air tastes different than it did before, and I wonder what's wrong. The 12-minute walk down the street felt like 12 months too long. And when I stopped to look around, I noticed something wrong. I'm nowhere but gone. So I stopped and looked to the ground. 'Cause I know that I belong somewhere. And I know that I belong somewhere. 'Cause 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 I know that I belong somewhere. 'C and I noticed something behind my head, and I pry my eyes open just to read ahead. It says, maybe it's better to be. I thought maybe an hour-long shower would do me some good, and then the thought of getting up, I just don't know if I could, and so I skipped the day completely. I know the pressure from the ones that live outside my head will tell me that it's just a wave that I have to accept, but I don't know if I could understand the reasons why someone would just get up each morning to do the same boring things you did, that you complained about last week when you spoke to me, creating some fantasy to make this world better than it seems. But I don't know if it's worth it to lie and say that I see a bright side. Maybe I'm colorblind. Oh, 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 oh. Haven't seen color, haven't experienced a lover that stays, and when I do wonder, I just get carried away, and then it brings out the worst in me. 'Cause all I see is gray. It's what brings out the worst in me. It brings out the worst in me. Out the worst in me.
I know that I want to keep sharing my music, and I know that's something that I kind of need to keep pushing myself towards. My songwriting has always served as something that has been for me, and something personal that I write so I don't have to talk about it. So I think that still like sharing it is still something that I'm working up to. But I think in talking about it more openly, it's definitely inspiring me more to be more comfortable with that and push myself a little bit more, because there are other people that could probably relate to my music and could probably help. And I think that would be so awesome to be able to like eventually share my thoughts and have people relate to them and understand how I'm feeling. And yeah, in the summer I'm working a theater job in Michigan. That'll be great. I get to choreograph a couple shows, and then in the fall I'm also doing a show in Colorado, so I'm kind of jumping like back and forth, which will be interesting. I just spoke about how how like consistency is helpful for me, but I think, yeah, I'm like really excited for these next few moments in my life where I kind of have to step away from that and step away from my comfortability. I'm excited to see what happens.
I sound dumb, I feel numb. I've been told don't think so much. I'm sorry I can't. Maybe once a day I'll think about the day when I'm not here, and that'll go away, but the other thoughts will stay, that won't disappear. And every time I try to avoid